Welcome back everyone to Collective Gamers 77. Today we'll have a quick review of the Marvel Superheroes Limited Edition from Arcade 1UP. Though this arcade cabinet is currently sold out, it did have a limited run of about 8,000. It was basically 1,000 units for every 10 years of Marvel. This was released for their 80th anniversary. I fortunately got the number 1977 of 8,000. It does have a light-up marquee, came with the riser, also Sanwa joystick and buttons. And once you do have the original Sanwa stuff, it is a bit hard to go back. So I'm hoping in the future Arcade 1UP will offer more of these up directly, or just go ahead and build them in, maybe add an extra $20 or $30 to the price. First up is Marvel Superheroes, released in the arcades in 1995. And I could only dream back then of having this home arcade perfect. The closest I got was the Marvel Superheroes that was released on Sega Saturn, and even that had a little bit of load time, and of course the PlayStation version was much less, especially with the longer load times. The characters on those two consoles were, as far as the sprites, were a lot smaller. Fortunately here, none of the character sprite size nor the frames of animation have been cut. It is arcade perfect, and finally, arcade perfect sound with dual speakers. Also, the gameplay, thanks to the tried and true Sanwa buttons and joystick, butter smooth, makes coming up with the combos and the special moves much easier, and definitely a blast to play. Next up is X-Men Children of the Atom, released in the arcades in 1994. This was the first entry for Capcom to use the Marvel license, and it was awesome because it had all the voice actors from the X-Men animated TV show. And again, much back in the mid-90s, it was hard to imagine you would get this arcade perfect, since the Saturn was the closest, and of course next to that was the PlayStation. This version, again, voices and sounds straight from the arcade, all-note graphics with no cuts in animation, gameplay butter smooth still with the Sanwa stick and buttons, and also one of the hardest, as I have a hard time with Omega Red. Next up is the Punisher, released in 1993 in the arcades. This really didn't get too much of a home version until it was released on the Genesis and Super Nintendo, with some sacrifice in the graphics, again with smaller characters, a little bit less colors in the background, and of course cut frames of animation, and also cut voice and sound effects. This version, again, arcade perfect since it is a ROM, plays smoothly, there's no slowdown, all the frames of animation are there. Fairly simple, attack and a jump button, press both for a super attack, jump up in the air and press both attack buttons again, and you release your grenade. You can play as the Punisher or Nick Fury in this arcade 2-player beat 'em up. I do like having this in the arcade 1UP as it gives a bit of variety to what is basically a one-on-one fighting cabinet. So this definitely helps to, again, if you're wanting a break between X-Men Children of the Atom, whether you're getting your butt kicked by Magneto, or in my case, Omega Red, or even Thanos in Marvel Superheroes. This is definitely a great inclusion to the Arcade 1UP game series. If you're a fighting game fan along with a Marvel Superheroes fan, this arcade cabinet is definitely a must pick me up. Unfortunately, the limited edition, of course, is sold out. It was limited to just 8,000 units. That said, the regular edition is still available from some retailers. I think QVC might still even have one, or HSN. Of course, Walmart carries it. Best Buy. It does not come with the Sanwa sticks on a regular edition or the Sanwa buttons. That said, it still does control well. I easily recommend this, and of course I look forward to the upcoming Marvel vs. Cab in November, but more than likely I'll be modifying that myself to have Sanwa joystick and Sanwa buttons. Thanks for watching this quick review. Please like and subscribe. Till next time.